All right, strap yourselves in because this week we are diving headfirst into global financial mayhem.
Oh yeah, it's a real circus out there. Even those seasoned investors are probably scratching their heads right now.
Well, hopefully our listeners are a little more savvy than that.
I would hope so.
But you're not wrong. There's a lot to unpack this week. So let's kick things off with the main event, shall we? Trump's trade war. It's like he's decided to play a game of economic whack-a-mole, 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It is pretty wild. The irony is almost palpable, right? Preaching about boosting North American trade while he's simultaneously slapping tariffs on our closest allies.
Talk about mixed messages. And of course, China had to jump into the fray. They're retaliating with tariffs of their own. It's a trade war tango, but no one seems to know the steps.
And the real kicker, it's the average Aussie who ends up footing the bill for all this political posturing. Businesses face higher costs, and inevitably those costs get passed down to us. So enjoy those cheap smashed avocados while you can, because inflation is back on the menu.
And speaking of the Aussie dollar, it's been bouncing around like a kangaroo on a sugar high lately.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if they're taking investment advice from Skippy the bush kangaroo.
You know what? That analogy is spot on. It really captures the unpredictable nature of our currency right now.
Yeah.
All this global uncertainty just makes planning and investing a real nail biter.
It does. And just when you thought things couldn't get more confusing, we've got these conflicting messages about inflation cooling down, but the risks are still rising.
Talk about mixed signals.
1 minute we're told to breathe easy, the next we should be battening down the hatches for an economic hurricane. It's enough to make you want to tear your hair out.
I hear you. And then there's the RBA cutting interest rates. Are they waving a white flag or just trying to buy us some time?
That is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, rate cuts might offer some temporary relief, but they don't actually address the root cause of inflation.
Exactly. In the long run, we're all going to have to adjust to a higher cost of living. So enjoy those budget-friendly brunches while they last.
Okay, so we've got trade wars, inflation, and a whole lot of uncertainty swirling around. But what about the big kahuna himself, Warren Buffett? What's the Oracle of Omaha up to in all this? He seems to be playing a very expensive game of financial chess.
This is where things get really interesting. Buffett's been selling stocks, hoarding cash, and staying unusually silent about his motives. It's like he's sending us a coded message, but no one has the cipher.
Well, he is considered to be a bellwether for market sentiment. So if the Oracle of Omaha is getting cautious, maybe we should be paying attention. What do you think? Should our listeners be hitting the panic button just yet?
I don't think it's time to panic, but it's certainly a signal to proceed with caution. Diversifying your portfolio and exploring options that offer a bit more stability might be a wise move.
Well, if everyone starts following Buffett's lead, we could see a stampede towards safer assets. Speaking of which, let's hop across the pond to Europe, where they're dealing with their anxieties in a slightly more well-explosive way.
You're telling me, while everyone else is sweating bullets about inflation and trade wars, Europe's decided to go on a military spending spree. It's like they're prepping for a real-life game of Risk.
It is a bizarre contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone else is tightening their belts, and Europe's out there stockpiling tanks like they're going out of style.
Well, with geopolitical tensions simmering, they probably have their reasons. But all this military spending has implications for the markets, too. It puts pressure on European government bonds, which could make other fixed-income assets comparatively more appealing.
So while we're over here worrying about our grocery bills, the Europeans are fueling a whole different kind of fire. It's a wild world out there. But hey, amidst all this chaos, there is one bright spot. Fixed income is looking like the safe haven in this financial storm.
Absolutely. When the world feels like a roller coaster on overdrive, fixed income is that calm, reliable friend you can always count on.
Let's delve into why that is and what it means for our listeners after a quick word from our sponsors.
In an ever-changing financial landscape where certainty is rare, one name stands out: Gilt Investments. Based in the heart of Brisbane, Gilt Investments specializes in fixed income solutions, empowering investors to navigate the complexities of today's financial markets with clarity, precision, and confidence. Here, your future isn't just our priority, it's our purpose, ready to take the first step toward a brighter financial future. Contact our office today and let Gilt Investments guide you with expertise, integrity, and a commitment to your success. Your journey to lasting prosperity starts here.
Welcome back. So we were just talking about how fixed income is starting to look pretty attractive in all this global chaos.
It is kind of like that old saying, when the going gets tough, the tough turn to fixed income. Okay, maybe that's not exactly how it goes, but you get the gist.
Well, you're not wrong. Fixed income is definitely known for its stability and predictability. And right now, with interest rates on the rise, it's actually offering something quite attractive, a decent return, without having to gamble on the stock market's mood swings.
So it's not just about playing defense. There's some potential for growth, too.
Exactly. Fixed income isn't just about, parking your money in government bonds and hoping for the best. It's a whole diverse universe of investments out there with varying levels of risk and return.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's be real for a second. Central banks seem to be making things up as they go along these days. How can anyone plan for the future when the rules of the game are constantly changing?
You raise a really good point. And that's actually why a solid fixed income strategy is more important now than ever. It's not about trying to outsmart the market or predict what the RBA will do next. It's about building a portfolio that can handle the punches no matter what curveballs get thrown our way.
Okay, but what does a solid fixed income strategy actually look like? It all sounds a bit complicated.
It really doesn't have to be. Think of it like building a house. You need a strong foundation, right, to withstand the storms. And that's what fixed income can provide. It's that ballast, that stability that helps you weather the market's turbulence.
So it's like the anchor in a stormy sea.
Precisely. It keeps you grounded when everything else feels like it's spinning out of control.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here. But I imagine our listeners might be wondering how to actually put this into practice. Where do they even begin?
Well, that's where we come in. At Gilt Investments, we help investors navigate those complexities of fixed income. We work one-on-one with you to create a tailored strategy, whether you're looking for steady income capital preservation or a bit of both.
So if you're out there feeling overwhelmed by all the financial noise, Gilt can help you create a plan that makes sense for your own unique goals.
Exactly. We'll help you build that all-weather portfolio, the kind that can handle whatever the market throws at it.
Because let's be honest, no one needs more stress in their lives, especially when it comes to their finances.
You got that right. Let us handle the financial anxiety so you can focus on the things that really matter. Speaking of things that matter, let's circle back to the global chaos we were discussing earlier. Any other key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind?
Well, I think it's pretty clear that global uncertainty is the new normal. Those old traditional investment strategies might not be as effective as they once were.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why having a well-structured fixed income plan is more crucial now than ever.
It's all about spreading the risk and protecting yourself from those unexpected events.
Exactly. Diversification is key, especially when the world feels like it's gone a bit mad.
I think we can all agree on that. So to our listeners out there, don't wait for the next storm to hit. Start exploring fixed income today and let Gilt Investments help you chart a course through these turbulent times.
Absolutely. You don't have to go it alone. We're here to guide you and answer any questions you might have.
Because someone has to make sense of all this madness, right?
You said it. Now let's move on to the grand finale of this week's deep dive. Stay tuned for our final thoughts and a bit of wisdom from the world of fixed income.
And we're back for the final stretch of our deep dive into, this global financial whirlwind. It's been a wild ride for sure between trade wars, inflation, and Warren Buffett doing who knows what.
And who could forget about Europe's tank buying spree? I mean, it makes you wonder if they're expecting a real-life game of Red Alert to break out any minute.
Right. Like they missed the memo that everyone else is trying to, tighten their belts.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe they know something we don't.
Maybe they're just really committed to that whole peace through superior firepower thing. But all jokes aside, with all this chaos swirling around, it's easy to feel like you're on shaky ground financially.
For sure. The markets are like a bucking bronco right now. And it's tough to know when to hold on and when to jump off.
And that's exactly why we keep coming back to fixed income. It's that steady hand, that anchor, that keeps you from being thrown off completely.
Because let's be honest, no one wants to see their hard-earned savings go up in smoke, when the market throws a tantrum.
Absolutely. And it's important to remember that fixed income isn't just about protecting what you already have. It can actually generate a pretty good return, especially with interest rates going up.
So it's not just about playing defense. There's potential to actually grow your money, too.
Right. It's about finding that sweet spot, that balance between risk and reward that lets you sleep soundly at night.
And that's where Gilt Investments steps in, right? Helping investors figure out a fixed income strategy that actually works for them and how much risk they are comfortable with.
Exactly. We take all the guesswork out of it. We help you build that portfolio that can handle anything, the kind that can withstand the storms and sail smoothly when the waters are calm.
Because in the end, it's all about peace of mind, isn't it? Knowing that your investments are working for you even when the world feels like it's falling apart.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So to sum things up, what are the key takeaways for our listeners today?
Well, I think the biggest one is that global uncertainty is here to stay. The old rules of investing, they just might not apply anymore, and we need to be ready for anything.
Yeah. And that's why a well-thought-out fixed income plan is so important these days. It brings stability and predictability to the table, which can be hard to find anywhere else.
It's about diversification, managing risk, and creating a solid foundation that can support your long-term goals.
Exactly. And if there's one thing we can be certain of, it's that there will always be surprises in the financial markets. But by making fixed income part of your investment strategy, you can face those challenges with a lot more confidence.
I couldn't agree more. So to all of our listeners out there, don't wait for the next market crash. Start exploring fixed income now and let Gilt Investments help you navigate these turbulent times.
The markets might be unpredictable, but your financial future doesn't have to be. We're here to help you make sense of it all.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this week's Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us, and remember, stay informed, stay ahead, and most importantly, stay calm. We'll be back next week with more insights from the world of finance.
Until then, happy investing, everyone.